The Federal Reserve System structure is composed of the President-appointed Board of Governors, the Federal Open Market Committee, FOMC, 12 regional Federal Reserve banks which are located in major cities throughout the nation, a plethora of privately owned U.S. member banks, and various advisory councils are also involved. The Federal Reserve System is considered to be an independent central bank because its monetary policy decisions do not have to be approved by the President or any executive or legislative branches of the government. It does not receive funding appropriated by the Congress, and their authority is derived from statutes enacted by the United States Congress, and the system is subject to congressional oversight. The Federal Reserve is a private organization that issues paper money to the United States. Many people say that the Federal Reserve is unconstitutional, and the truth is that it is very much unconstitutional, and it is bringing the great nation of the United States down to its knees. What the Constitution says is that the Congress shall have power to coin money, regulate the value thereof, and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures. No state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts.
Congress is supposed to be in control of printing, coining the money, and distributing it to the public, but instead, they gave away their power and authority of printing money, interest-free to a private international bank controlled by international bankers. This means that a private organization, instead of our government, Congress, is in control of our monetary system, including policies. The Federal Reserve does not print money, the U.S. Treasury does, and the feds pay next to nothing for the money to be printed. So when the United States government borrows money from these private bankers, called the Federal Reserve, it is borrowed at face value with interest. This interest is paid by us, the taxpayers, through our taxes. So what the Fed actually does is create money out of thin air with interest on top. You would be surprised on how much it costs the Federal Reserve to have money printed. When we first came across this, we found that the Feds pays about 2.4 cents to print money. The kicker to this is that it costs 2.4 cents per note of any denomination. That means whether it is a $1 bill, $50 bill, and even a $100 bill, they all cost 2.4 cents. As we continue in our search and studies, we found the actual cost to print money is right on the Federal Reserve website. These are the current rates to print money according to the Fed. Cost per denomination. $1 and $2 notes equals 5.2 cents per note. $5 and $10 notes equals 8.5 cents per note. $20 and $50 notes are at 9.2 cents per note. And a $100 bill note is equal to 7.7 cents per note. The rates today may not be at 2.4 cents, but each denomination still costs just pennies for the feds. Listen to how this sounds. The Fed pays 5.2 cents to print $1. The U.S. government then borrows the dollar from the Fed for $1. The Fed tax on interest. The government then has to pay back that dollar plus the interest. To cover the interest, the government uses the people's money through taxes to pay back this interest. Does that sound kosher? The problem with that is, as long as the government allows the Fed to control our monetary system and issue our currency, we will always be in debt, whether we like it or not. Us hard-working Americans are slaves to the Federal Reserve systems and the international bankers that own the Fed. The banks that have controlling interests in the Federal Reserve and that controlled and manipulated our politics and economics are listed below. They have been doing this since the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 was signed into law. These are the people who are controlling our monetary system and dictating monetary policies. Rothschild Banks of London and Berlin, Lazard Brothers Bank of Paris, Israel Moses Saiff Banks of Italy, Warburg Bank of Hamburg, Germany and Amsterdam, Kuhn Loeb Bank of New York, Lehman Brothers Bank of New York, Goldman Sachs Bank of New York, and Chase Manhattan Bank of New York, controlled by the Rockefellers. These are the actual masterminds and creators of the central banking system called the Federal Reserve.